if you're just joining us, we're talking ASMR. We need to do this before you introduce yourself.
Yeah, true.
What were you falling asleep to?
Well, it's just, like people were like, I was like, oh, cleanse my aura, clean, so there would just be like some spiritual guru people. There's this dude with this beautiful fro, like his afro wasn't making any sounds, but it was for the eyes.
Yes.
And then you used to set, the nice fingers moving, then you get the little scissors and just snip off that negative energy, just a little snip. And then some of that. Sometimes you'd start seeing videos would come up and it's just like people like playing with people's hair or like getting little brushes and just like scratching stuff.
Yeah.
And it would get really peculiar like that while I would be even more and more satisfied. And so it was a little bit of guilt associated with it, but mostly satisfaction.
So it wasn't really any voice stuff. It was more the Foley stuff. Like how they have those people in movies, like Foley artists who make the sound of everything from scratch.
Yeah, it was like that, but there was also like, making sure that they're comforting you just like this. And now we're going to remove any of that negativity that's been with you.
I like this stuff. I like this.
Exactly.
Oh, that makes me feel good, and that's my voice.
Right, there you go. And that's self-love.
There you go. Give me 2 minutes. Maybe 5. Let's list the things that you do as a profession, because you are an artist, but then under that, we're here to talk about your music today, but let's go through it all. Actor.
Yep.
Dancer.
Yeah. Singer, songwriter. It's connected.
Yeah, it's connected.
Sometimes I can do backflips.
There you go.
I'm gymnast.
And a coffee guy now.
I'm a coffee guy now. If it's machine's going to do it all for me,
yes,
I can do that. That's pretty much
That's
about
pretty
it.
good.
Can't ride a bike that well, can't swim that well, like can't skateboard, you know what I mean? Like can't paint,
Okay.
Oh
wow. God, you're lazy bones.
Yeah. I can run fast.
Can you?
Yeah, I can run pretty fast.
Yeah.
And as someone was saying the other day,
It's like we're dating. We're going through all the things that where are all your talents?
Yes.
I cook a mean stir fry.
Mean stir fry. Accounting? No.
Oh, good. Okay.
No.
Although these days, I think as an artist, I think you've got to have a bit of a business brain on you, because all I seem to read is just managers taking artists for a ride, and especially in the early days.
Yeah.
And now, like everyone's reclaiming stuff, like Taylor's version and all that stuff. Everything's reclaiming things for themselves.
Exactly.
Which I think is wonderful.
It is wonderful. At the same time, I've got this like deep appreciation for it. And I I'm like, let me try and be across absolutely everything. And that's really intense for the level of control that I also need, because I can also be a bit of a control freak.
Yeah.
So in some ways it's really, really good. In other ways, I also resist it because I'm like, wait, can't I just like sing and dance and act? Isn't that enough? Can't I just keep practicing all that stuff? But then you realize if I'm not taking care of this admin, then my head just is really foggy, and I can't really engage in the arts space of it.
Yeah.
So it's just like cleaning your house. It's the same thing. Like make the bed, do the dishes, vacuum.
Yeah.
Water the plants.
Yeah, there you go, kids. That's good advice, because I think, especially now I've been doing this for a while, the more people I speak to, the more in control of all aspects of their career. Like, I think in the early days, you used to just be a singer, and then you'd just be carted around in a black van with sunglasses on, going, duh.
Not even writing the lyrics.
No,
Are
nothing.
you even singing? Like, is that you singing, or is it someone else?
Well, apparently on one of the Beach Boys albums, I read this not long ago, Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, they didn't even play any of the instruments on there.
Got it.
And the session musos weren't even credited.
Got it. And that's so common. I think that's pretty funny. I'm sure that happens a little bit these days, but like
not as much though.
Yeah. And now we also have to be like ahead of all our social media stuff and like marketing gurus and everything. It's interesting.
Yeah, a song is not enough anymore, mate.
No.
A good song is not enough.
No, it's everything, which is kind of cool. You have to flex everything, and also it's very empowering to know that we are the CEOs of our thing, and we've got to really get this business mind and leadership sort of into play.
Yeah.
It's good. Now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, yeah, all right, just get to it, Keiynan. So I'm trying to live that fantasy that you created, where everyone's going to do everything for you.
Yeah, that might come down the track. But I think maybe because you work really hard at the start, that's when it comes. Not because you
Hopefully.
were like that at the start.
Yeah.
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 Tell us about the Heart Defense. It's out now, and then we'll go back to where it started because this is we're calling it a mixtape. It's not an
Yeah.
album. It's a
Nah.
mixtape.
Yeah.
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 Tell us about it.
Well, some people are like, no, it's an album. I'm like, I mean, if you want to call it
I mean,
that,
I'm looking
but-
at it going, it looks like an album, it swims like an album, it talks like an album, but it's a mixtape.
I mean, the music told me it was a mixtape, so I said, that's a mixtape.
Sounds cool.
It came out of, I was writing an album, like my second album, and I just had so many songs, and once I was finishing that album, I just kept on writing. But I mainly knew that second album was not going to be ready on the visual side. Obviously, like, I'm a deep visual storyteller, and I wanted to build up my skills in create almost like these short films with that project, and I'm just not there. The bank account's not there.
Yep.
You know, things aren't there. So I'm like, let me keep going back to school and train more. But as I was doing that, I'm like, gosh, I really want to put out some music. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sick of this. I got to do it. And I just kept writing so much stuff, and I was like, you know, maybe I just put out a whole other project. And I was like, yeah, let me just put out a mixtape. I've never done that before. I just kind of like whip it together and throw it out. And some parts were whipped together, like the songs came together so fast, but then it ended up turning into a much larger thing than I thought. And then everyone was like, this is basically another album. You've basically now doubled your job.
Yeah.
Created 2 albums.
Yes.
And now you also have to do the visuals for this one too. And you have to do that. And I was like, oh, I see. I see.
I was watching the clip for Sit Down again last night and again this morning. I love that so much. You must be
Thank you.
so proud of that. I can't look away. That's an incredible piece of work.
Thank you.
With your dance background and obviously now with your singer-songwriter, what does it all look at? Do you write a song with the movements in your mind as well, or does that come after you put the song down, or like, how does that work in your mind?
Yeah, I think when I'm making a song that I'm really proud of and it makes me move, I'm dancing in the studio, you know, so especially if it's the first time I've worked with a producer, like I love when I get just lost in the moment and then I realize, like, I don't know this guy, you know, and I'm just like going off dancing, and I didn't even warn him, you know. And that was actually the first song that me and Pax on the Beat created together. So
Is that right? Okay.
yeah, that music makes me dance. I start to visualize the visuals or being on live stage with it. I don't have the actual steps, but I do have the feeling. And I actually remember Pax was dancing. He was dancing and I saw his vibe, and I was like, that's the right vibe.
Yeah.
You know? But it wasn't until later that I got in with my one of my choreographers, Keiynan, and we just jammed out in the studio and just merged our worlds together and came up with the movement.
Does that make you incredibly happy to be dancing to your own music versus somebody else's, or is it all just in your, like, is it a different feeling dancing to your own music?
For sure. I mean, I went to a dance class the other day, and the teacher surprised me by choreographing the dance to another song on the mixtape called Come Papi.
Oh, yeah.
And like
Oh,
they
I
were
love
teaching the routine, we were learning it without music, and then suddenly they hit play, and it was my song. I just started laughing, and then I couldn't even do the rest of the class. I just sat down and watched everyone because I was like, it was so cool.
Oh, that's
seeing
awesome.
everybody just move and dance, and yeah, like I grew up in dance school, so I obviously love to dance, and I always had a dream like, wow, imagine if I could get even closer to the music and be the one creating the music, and then I can, you know, create even more dance. I can manipulate the dance even more because I'm also part of the actual music. So it's always had this really nice connection between the movement and the sound.
With that comes up, when I was telling a few people that I was chatting to you today, everybody just lost their mind. Went, Dance Academy, Dance Academy. I'm slightly out of that age bracket for Dance Academy, but tell us about that show and what it did for you, because clearly it made you very popular among a certain group of people.
What did it do for me? Well, that was the first time I was really saying dialogue on screen. You know, I had done maybe a couple little commercials before in the background, and I had done I did like one episode of a show where I basically just like pushed a kid in a trolley down a steep hill and knocked him off the trolley. So it was an interesting role.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Speaking role or non-speaking
I
role?
don't think I spoke. I was just like, whoa. So this was a step up.
Did you have to audition for that?
Yes, actually.
Did you?
You did, yeah.
Crazy business.
And Dance Academy was mad because I knew, it'd be so fun to act one day. But then I was like, but I don't really have any experience. And then I already had some friends in the show. And I was like, yo, can you give me some extra work? It's going to be in the background because I need some money. And then they hooked me up with that. First season, I did some extra work in the background. And then the auditions came for the next season. And first round was just dancing. So I was like, cool, I got this.
Yeah.
And then after that, they asked me to come in and read. And it was cool because even though, I should do that again for the ASMR.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I like it though.
Even though like...
You'll be listening to this to go to sleep yourself soon, this whole podcast.
I don't know. Whoa. Even though I didn't have much acting experience, I knew what it was like to be a dancer. So that show gave me a lot of confidence I made a lot of mistakes. And it was such a beautiful environment on that set. I'm still literally, I was just hanging out with one of the cast last night, actually.
Yeah.
We're still best friends with a lot of the cast. And
so how many years did you do that for? You did it for a few seasons, didn't you?
I was extra first year,
Oh, yeah?
supporting role the second year, like a guest, and then a part of the lead characters the third year. So I just kept going up and up and up.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I did. I was really good at hustling, apparently. I would like that confidence back again. But yeah, it changed my life, you know. From there, everyone was like, we're going to go to America and we're going to audition for more stuff. And then I just followed everybody else.
Yeah.
And then it was interesting getting overseas to America and people were like, are you from Dance Academy?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What was America like? Like, was it the hustle? Did the hustle have to get real there?
Yeah, it had to get real.
Yeah.
It was so different. I mean,
do you feel how relaxed we are here when you go somewhere like the US, especially in your kind of line of work?
Yeah, in the line of work, we're way more relaxed here. In other ways, no. You know, in other ways, it is so excessive over there in times, and you can kind of have, you can be like, all right, so we're gonna bring the camels out. Then the puppies will arrive, and then the horse will come. They'll all be smoking weed over there, and you guys will start dancing on the 1, 2, 3, and the golf clubs are going to hit on the 4. And then we're going to have the buggies come here, and everyone's like, okay, sounds good, you know? And you're like, wait, and this is a low budget video? Like, so they're just making so much stuff all the time that's very casual.
Yeah, I love that so much. I hope that's a real video somewhere I can find.
I did. It wasn't a camel, actually. It was an alpaca. And I did have puppies, and I did have golf clubs. That was a real video.
Oh, wow.
It's like I feel like they're more casual about people being like pretty crazy, and they'll support it.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I think we're a bit more like grounded here, and like, is that a good idea?
Is the alpaca necessary?
Yeah. Is the alpaca necessary, mate? Do you really need the alpaca
right.
and the puppies, you know?
Can't you just sing in front of a green screen?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you know, America's hectic. It's an amazing place for opportunities. It's an amazing place, but so hectic. So it's hard to describe in a short sentence. But I've definitely taken a lot from there, and I've learned a lot.
Well, Australians do very well over there too. Maybe it's
we do.
We take the right attitude with us. Maybe
that's it. We have a really good attitude about work and about just hard work and just getting it done and getting it did.
They're surprised that we speak English so well. They're like, "Wow,
yeah,
you're like one of us, but you sound funny."
Yeah, and for most of the people I meet over there, they're like, "They got black Australians. There's a black over there." What? Yeah,
yeah.
What's that like? What's that? That's real? Yeah. My brother.
Well, I went to school over there for 3 years, and the yellow school bus driver couldn't believe after I was there for 3 months how good my English was. He goes, "Man, your English is real good." And I'm like, "Thanks."
Thank you. I usually just speak kangaroo, but I've been learning lots.
That's right. Now, you grew up in Sydney.
Yeah, Western Sydney.
Okay, and a very big family, right? 12 of you?
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
So
12 kids.
out of the 12, did you have to push your way out to do what you're doing now, or was this like what your family was like? I kind of do picture a family vibe of very fun-loving, moving people who are listening to lots of cool tunes and very supportive of each other. I'm just making that up based on seeing the number 12.
I mean, look, I didn't grow up with all of my siblings.
Okay.
A lot of them, half of them I met later on in life.
Yeah, right.
So, but the way I grew up, I was the youngest kid
Yep.
of 6 at the time. There was 6, I was the youngest, and we definitely had a lot of music around the house. I like everyone had their different styles that they loved too, but I was the youngest and I was super cute, so I got away with a lot. And I was like, I'm gonna dance Michael Jackson in the living room every single day. So, Mum set a couple hours each day for me to be able to do that, but like also she couldn't stop me. Like
Yeah.
once it was my time was up. It's like I'm like, nope, the time is not up because this song is now begun, and I'm now, like, I'm here. Like this is gonna be my life, and so yeah, I'm sure the siblings were like annoyed, but also like they would come to my competitions
Yeah.
and support. And
So was it dancing at the start?
was dancing at
Yeah,
the start.
okay.
Yeah, music came later. I mean, I started to, because I was frustrated. Like I'm like, I want to be able to make this song go into this song and this song and this song, because I just loved all Michael Jackson songs. So
Yeah.
I was like, how can I put, like 3 minutes isn't enough. How do I put like 5 songs in one? So then I learned how to like go from the 2 cassette tapes and like just start splicing those together.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, so you did that yourself? That's so cool.
I did that myself, and I realized like you got to do it right straight away because the tape will get lesser and lesser quality.
I used to edit radio phone calls like that, on like splice them on reel to reel.
That's
And so I'd
cool.
come home with like cuts all over my hands, and like my dad's like, I didn't think radio was a physical job. I'm like, well,
Tough man.
I am very tough in my air conditioned
Yeah.
studio.
That's cool. It gets you really good at
Yeah.
like timing and precision because you're just like, this is real. It's not, I can't just keep doing it over and over.
And how old were you when you were doing this?
I was probably like 7.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually moved into working on the computer and
Yeah.
realized I could add
So much
bad
more.
effects.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, again, I was always just like, how do I get closer to the music? How do I do that?
Mm.
And then, Mum was like, well, you'd have to sing for that. And I was like, true, singing. If only I could sing. And then, I was already making poetry, and then I just started writing songs, and I was not a good singer.
Do you remember the first song you wrote?
I think.
So that yes.
Yeah, I
A
remember
little
one of
embarrassed
the
look in
first
your
ones.
face. She's like, I definitely do.
Yeah. It was so super cute. Like the day before I went to a performing arts high school, it was just, the song was just, I was so excited. So it was called Dreams Come True.
Okay, I love it.
So, and then I performed it for people maybe like the next day.
Oh, how good. Yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty corny.
Yeah, of course.
But
That's
like,
great.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't meant to be dark Radiohead vibes when you were 7 or 8.
No. But sometimes I would come on stage giving some real emo vibes.
Yeah.
Like,
You think that's what you had to do.
well, the song, like there was some darkest. I just wanted to express all of it. So I would, there was this one like dance I had, and I put like a red blanket all over me, and I came on like a red ghost to the show, and I just started moving in this red thing for like 2 minutes, and then eventually I come out and I just like start dancing again.
Oh, I love this so much.
So weird, but good for me.
Yeah, of course. So then how do you go from that to, what was the next step for you and your mum? Your mum was like, okay, all right, so you're pretty good at this. You've done the red ghost thing. You've spliced the tapes.
Yeah.
We got to get this guy making some money out of this. What was like the first professional thing you did in music or dance?
Well,
Because that must have been surreal. Like, you can get paid to do something that you clearly love so much.
yeah, and I kind of knew that early on. Like,
Okay.
because we didn't have much money. My mum was working like 3 jobs, single mom. She was working at the gas station overnight. So it was just like, I'm like, I really want to help change this. Like, and I was like, you know what? I'm seeing a lot of these like the most amazing performers in the world. They also got some really nice houses, and they're traveling a lot. I'm pretty sure if I just work really hard at this, like, we're gonna be okay. So,
Yeah.
luckily, I just let it kind of happen naturally. I never thought about money, and I had a really nice mindset. I was like, if I do the right things, it will come. And I was just lucky.
Yeah.
And
Lucky with a whole lot of talent as well.
with a whole lot of talent and definitely like complete dedication. Like I wasn't
Yes.
out partying. I didn't drink.
Yeah.
I didn't cross the road when the light was red. You know, I was like,
Wow.
I was just like a robot in certain ways until I got on the stage. You know.
Yeah.
And but my high school, I got a scholarship to go there. It was a performing arts high school, so I was blessed to do that. And and that exposed us to like professional settings.
Yes.
So we as a school, they would select a few of us to go and do these dance jobs. And then when I was 16, I was in a music group, and that's when we started getting into professional recording studios and started shooting music videos. And
Yeah, right.
you know, then I remember we went on tour with like Omarion and Fat Man Scoop. And it was like,
Amazing.
oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like, this is a real thing.
Yeah. What about them musically for you? Because, I mean, debut album was 2020.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the work leading up to that in terms of, like, obviously, because dance took you overseas and you were, I mean, look, like, you were an MTV VJ and you're acting, you were dancing. You obviously, to record an album, I would assume, has to take a lot of time and dedication.
Yeah.
Was that like did you have to take yourself out of that world and put yourself into the other one while you were working on that? Was that an interesting experience for you?
I mean, luckily, by the time I was 18 and that music group broke up, I bought my own equipment and started to teach myself how to record. So then pretty much a few years later, the acting brought me overseas, but I brought all my equipment. So I was like, okay, turns out I'm going to be a full-time actor. Didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to need to also like record every night and on the weekends and try to find producers. And so I did that for a few years, and the acting just never stopped. Eventually,
Yeah, because you were in Love, Simon before the album came out too. A few years before that was.
I did Love, Simon and The Flash. Like it was just snowballing. It was amazing, and I would like fly from whichever country I was back to LA, get in sessions, and then fly back. But eventually, I was just like, I got all this amazing music, but I really want to make an album, and I really want to, make a statement to myself as an artist, and I need to be able to have some time to focus on that, to find out what it is that Keiynan wants to say, because I was getting hired to be all these other characters.
Yeah.
And it was just a bit exhausting, and so I took the risk, and I was like, I called my bosses, and I was like, I gotta dip.
Yeah, right.
I guts to dip. I need to make an album, and they were seeing me already like go pretty wild, I guess, and they were like, yeah, we were waiting for this to come. I had a feeling you were gonna say this.
Yeah.
And they were super supportive, and then I left, like at the time I left The Flash, which was like a 10-month a year gig.
Yeah, right.
And I went off and started making Rainbow Boy.
Yeah. Were you nervous to leave that kind of comfortable work behind? Not behind completely, but to dip out, as you say, then to do something that clearly, because it sounds like even going right back to the red coat and everything, like being a ghost. You're very confident in your ability. So, did you feel scared, like tapping out to go and do this album, or did you just feel completely right? This just had to happen.
Just had to happen.
Yeah, I love that.
I didn't feel scared. Like I was so determined, and I was like, if not now, when? You know, and yeah, so I just went for it. Of course, everyone around me was scared. My mom was like, "You're gonna leave a full-time paying job?" You know what I mean? To just get, like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And then, and it worked. I mean, I ended up getting more busy and more hectic. From doing that. And of course, I look back sometimes and I'm like, maybe I could have found a way to keep that full-time paying job and do this. But honestly, the music wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah.
I needed to like run off and be a fairy and just discover like my world of magic and then put that in the songs. So I did that.
You did that. What is next for you then? What's because you've got the mixtape now, and we're loving that. What's next for you? It feels like you've always got about 50,000 things on the go, or on the potential to be on the go.
I do. I mean, a lot of right now is like obviously promoting the mixtape and diving into even more of the visuals for that, just because it's fun.
Yeah.
And getting on stage again. We just developed like the live show, so I feel like on stage is where that's where I've got most experience since being a kid.
Yeah.
So I'm most excited to try and pull together like a tour.
Yeah. Would that be for next year? Are you able to tease that?
I reckon I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the goal.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Hopefully people in the other room are writing that down.
Boop, boop,
Yep.
boop, boop,
Thumbs up.
2024, baby.
Yeah.
And then also, yeah, still developing the second album. So working on the visuals for that. I just want to refine my eye and be able to learn how to best, from each element, tell those stories in a way that I think is like beautiful.
Yeah. And keep popping into dance classes every now and then as well.
Exactly. But that's it. Like I just rock up to classes.
I love that.
Sometimes. Contemporary class or hip hop or whatever. I just go.
Yeah. We'd like to finish off with getting our guests to introduce us to someone to listen to that you're enjoying at the moment. Doesn't have to be brand new. It could be someone that you've loved for a long time, but just someone that you would like other people to get into as well.
Do I have to just choose one?
You don't. No, you can go for as long as you want. We can always splice this.
Okay. I'm going to choose 3. Okay, cool. That's what we're doing. We're choosing 3. First is Victoria Monet. I'm sure a lot of people already know her, but it's just because I found out she's my number 1 artist on number 1 listening artist this year. So I'm like, all right, let me rep that. And it's cool. She's just been doing this for a long time. It's nice to see someone like that.
Did you get yourself wrapped? Just quickly to interrupt. Did you get yourself wrapped and find out what countries are listening to you the most?
The US listens to me the most.
Yeah. Lift your game, Australia. Come on.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm talking about.
God. Sydney boy right
to
here.
Your boy from St. Mary's. But Sydney actually is one of the top cities. Like
there we go.
Most listeners. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And also Mexico and I think London. And yeah.
Well, that's good.
Second artist is Tizo Touchdown. I just think, have you heard of Tizo?
I have not.
Okay, Tizo's mad. He's crazy. If you ever see this dude with like nails everywhere in his head, consistently, without fail, that's Tizo Touchdown. And his music his voice, singing and rapping is really beautiful. It's alternative. He's mixed all these genres together. It shouldn't make sense, but it does, and it's really cool to see an artist just go for it in every way. And then the third artist I'll rep is my girl Maxine. She's Sydney based. She's got this like pop punk kind of vibe going. We've written together, and I also grew up with her in the dance space, and watching her develop in the music scene is really inspiring. And she's been teaching me a lot as well in the game and helping me like feel more confident. And I love the world that she's built with her sound. So yeah, check out Maxine.
Love it. Well, Keiynan, it's such a pleasure to meet you. Congratulations on the mixtape. The Heart Defense is out right now, and we'll see you live on the stage next year. No pressure.
Thank you, Tim.
And just good luck with everything else. It looks like everything you're touching is turning to gold. So I'm very proud of you. Well done.